If she never chased you before, it's not because she couldn't. It's because you never had the boundaries that make a woman chase. Let's be real, my friend. Most men don't lose women because they're not attractive or not successful. They lose women because they give too much too fast for nothing in return. You answer every text instantly. You drop your plans the moment she calls. You open your heart long before she's earned a seat in your life. And deep down you know exactly what happens next. She gets comfortable. She stops trying. She starts pulling back. And you're left wondering why all your effort never seems to matter. It's not about effort. It's about boundaries. Women don't chase men who make themselves available on command. They chase men who carry themselves with standards, men whose time has weight, men who don't hand out emotional access like it's a gift bag, men who know exactly who they are and refuse to shrink just to be liked. And here's the truth nobody told you: boundaries aren't walls. They're signals. Signals that tell her, if you want more of me, you're going to have to show up. When a man lives that way, even a woman who has never chased anyone before suddenly feels drawn in, curious, invested, afraid to lose him. Today I'm going to show you the 10 boundaries that flip attraction in your favor and make her do what you've never seen her do before. Let's get into it. Number 1. Don't give easy emotion. Let's be real, folks. The fastest way to kill a woman's desire is to make your emotional world too cheap, too available, and too easy to access. Most men don't even realize they're doing it. They think being open, being expressive, being emotionally supportive from day one will make her feel closer. But what actually happens is the complete opposite. She doesn't feel drawn in. She doesn't feel curiosity. She doesn't feel excitement. She feels no challenge at all. To show you exactly what I mean, let me introduce you to Michael, 57, from Texas. Great guy, steady job, good heart. After he started seeing Laura, 54, he did what most men do when they really like a woman. He opened the door to his entire emotional universe before she earned even 10% of that access. Within 2 weeks, Laura already knew everything about his fears, his regrets, his past relationships, his loneliness, his future hopes, all of it. And here's the truth, my friend, she didn't feel special. She felt overwhelmed. She felt like she became his emotional home before she ever chose to be. That's when she started slowing down, taking longer to reply, pulling back without saying it directly. This happens because easy emotion creates zero investment. A woman doesn't chase what she already owns for free. Emotional access is powerful, it's intimate, it's valuable, and when a man hands it out without standards, he sends a message he doesn't realize he's sending. My emotional world is open to anyone. You don't have to earn anything from me. That kills attraction faster than you think. Now, compare that to a man with boundaries. A man who is warm but not overflowing. A man who listens but doesn't unload. A man who is present but not pouring his whole soul onto the table on date 2. Women feel that difference instantly. They feel the steadiness, the calm, the control. They feel like he values his emotional energy. They feel like he's not trying to use vulnerability as a shortcut to intimacy. And because of that, they lean in, they engage, they invest. They start showing up with more effort. The mistake modern men make is believing that vulnerability is the key to attraction. Vulnerability has its place, but not when it's given too soon, not when it's given without boundaries, not when it's used as a way to get closeness instead of as a response to closeness that has already been built. Look at Michael again. Once he realized what happened, he didn't become cold. He didn't shut down. He learned balance. He kept conversations light early on. He allowed connection to build naturally. He revealed parts of himself over time instead of dumping everything up front. And what happened? Laura came back with more curiosity. She asked more questions. She leaned into him. She started chasing the emotional depth he wasn't giving away too easily. This boundary is simple. Your emotions are real, but they're not free. Your inner world has value, but that value must be earned. Your vulnerability is powerful, but only when shared intentionally. A woman feels most drawn to a man whose emotional center is solid, not spilling everywhere. She wants to feel chosen, not handed everything without effort. When you stop giving easy emotion, you stop diluting your own value. You create depth, you create tension, you create a space where she actually wants to step closer. If this hits home, drop a comment saying, "I protect my heart. Stay with me," because what comes next explains why your time is one of the strongest boundaries you'll ever set. Number 2. Protect your time. Let's be straight here, my friend. Nothing kills attraction faster than a man who treats his time like it has no value. Women don't lose interest because you're not charming or not successful. They lose interest because your schedule bends the moment they call, your plans disappear the second they show up, and your entire life becomes centered around their availability. And once you start doing that, the chase is over. She doesn't need to earn you anymore. You're already there, waiting, hoping, adjusting. This is why protecting your time is one of the strongest boundaries a man can have. It's not about playing games. It's not about pretending to be busy. It's about living with structure. It's about respecting your own rhythm. When a man has a life with weight, routine, purpose, commitments, discipline, his time naturally becomes something a woman must align with, instead of something she can interrupt whenever she feels bored, lonely, or curious. The Stoics understood this long before modern dating. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Most men don't lose women, they lose time. They give hours to conversations that go nowhere, rearrange their day for a woman who hasn't proven anything, and drop everything for a date that wasn't even confirmed properly. And every time you abandon your structure, you make yourself look emotionally cheap and mentally unanchored. A man who protects his time communicates something powerful without saying a word. My life is full. My life is meaningful. And if you want space in it, you have to come with intention. Women feel that energy, even through texting. When you respond on your schedule, not instantly, not anxiously, not reactively, you show her you are living, not waiting. When you keep your plans, instead of canceling them just because she's suddenly available, you show her you are a man with priorities. When you don't let late-night "what are you doing" messages disrespect your boundaries, you show her you have standards. And here's the beautiful twist. Women don't get upset with men who protect their time. They get intrigued. They get curious. They get invested. Why? Because a man with structure is rare. A man who doesn't break his routine for attention is rare. A man who doesn't sacrifice his purpose for validation is extremely rare. When you protect your time, you create the exact emotional friction that makes a woman step up. She begins to plan ahead. She makes her communication clearer. She becomes more consistent. She understands that if she wants access to you, she can't be casual about it. This is how boundaries naturally increase her investment without you ever having to push. Protecting your time also protects your emotional stability. When your schedule is solid, you don't overthink. You don't obsess. You don't sit around analyzing her behavior. You're moving, you're building, you're progressing. And that steadiness, that momentum, that certainty, women feel it. A man who values his time becomes a man whose presence has weight. And remember this, my friend, time you don't respect becomes time she doesn't value. If this makes sense to you, drop a comment saying, "I value my time." Don't go anywhere, because next we break down how controlling the conversation turns you into the man she naturally follows. Number 3. Control the conversation. Let's be real, folks. Most men lose the entire dynamic with a woman because they don't know how to guide a conversation. They talk too much, talk too soon, or talk with the goal of impressing her instead of expressing themselves. And when a man lets the interaction run wild, when every conversation becomes emotional dumping or non-stop texting, he loses polarity, he loses mystery, he loses leadership. And leadership is exactly what makes a woman lean in. To make this real, let me give you an example. Daniel, 56, from Oregon, started seeing Michelle, 53. At the beginning, everything felt light, fun, and natural. But as soon as he caught feelings, Daniel started texting like a man who was trying to keep her interested. Long messages, fast replies, constant check-ins, and before he knew it, he was following her pace instead of setting his own. Michelle started taking longer to respond. Her tone shifted. She became less engaged, not because she lost interest, but because Daniel stopped leading the emotional flow. Controlling the conversation doesn't mean dominating her or shutting her down. It means guiding the tone, guiding the pace, and guiding the depth. A masculine conversation is steady, intentional, and grounded. A feminine conversation is expressive, emotional, and sometimes chaotic. When a man mirrors her chaos, both of them sink. When a man holds his ground, she rises to his level. Women feel safer with a man who guides the exchange, not reacts to it. Here's what that looks like in practice. When she texts something emotional, you don't match her emotion, you slow the energy down. When she tries to escalate drama, you keep your tone steady and consistent. When she asks rapid-fire questions, you answer one at a time with calm clarity. When she tries to pull you into long conversations at the wrong times, you redirect or pause the conversation without fear of losing her. You don't become cold, you don't become distant, you become the anchor. And that contrast is what pulls her in. Women admire men who speak with purpose. They admire men who don't ramble. They admire men who don't over-explain. They admire men who can express themselves clearly without emotional spillage. When you control the conversation, you tell her without saying it that your emotional world is stable, and stability is deeply attractive, especially to mature women who have lived through enough emotional chaos in their own past. Look back at Daniel. When he stopped over-texting, when he slowed down his replies, when he stopped trying to impress Michelle with endless conversation, something shifted. She became warmer. She initiated conversations more often. She asked deeper questions. She leaned in not because he got colder, but because he got centered. She finally felt his masculine presence instead of his emotional neediness. A woman doesn't chase a man who floods her with words. She chases a man whose words have weight. A man who knows how to steer a conversation always feels more grounded than a man who talks without direction. And that groundedness makes her feel feminine, safe, and curious. She doesn't just want to talk to him, she wants to earn his attention. She wants to impress him. She wants to rise to his communication standard. If this connects with you, drop a comment saying, "I lead the tone." Stay tuned because next we dive into the boundary that instantly boosts her respect for you, refusing to tolerate even the smallest disrespect. Number 4. Never tolerate disrespect. Let's be honest here, my friend. A woman doesn't lose respect for you in one big moment. It happens through small, subtle interactions, tiny lapses that most men overlook because they're afraid of rocking the boat. A sarcastic jab, a cold tone, a last-minute cancellation, a flirtatious comment about another man, a small boundary push just to see how you react. And when you let those things slide, not because you're calm, but because you're scared to lose her, something inside her shifts. She stops seeing you as a man she responds to and starts seeing you as a man she can shape. That is the beginning of the end. You don't need to explode. You don't need to confront aggressively. You simply need to stand firm. Stoicism teaches exactly this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best answer to anger is silence." And the same principle applies to disrespect. The best answer is a calm, steady withdrawal of your energy, not punishment, not emotional manipulation, just a quiet signal that says, "This doesn't work with me. Here's why that works." When a woman pushes your boundaries, she's not always trying to hurt you. Sometimes she's testing the strength of your frame. She wants to know whether you can lead. She wants to know whether you're grounded. She wants to know whether you're emotionally independent or whether you crumble the moment she gives you tension. Women don't feel safe with men who collapse. They feel safe with men who stay centered. And being centered means you don't explain yourself endlessly. You don't beg for better treatment. You don't justify her behavior to protect your feelings. You simply remove your presence when the standard drops. When she raises her voice at you, you don't raise yours back. You say, "We'll talk when things cool down," and you step away. When she makes disrespectful jokes, you don't laugh along. You say, "Not my style," and you move on. When she cancels last minute more than once, you don't rearrange your life. You stop offering your availability. The power is not in punishment. The power is in the quiet clarity of a man who knows his worth. A woman chases the man she respects. She withdraws from the man she can easily manipulate. Stoic philosophy is built on one central idea: protect your inner world fiercely. That includes your dignity. When you don't tolerate disrespect, you protect the core of who you are. You show her you value yourself. And when she sees you value yourself, she begins valuing you more. This doesn't just affect attraction, it affects her behavior. She becomes more intentional, more feminine, more careful with her tone, more invested in treating you well. Why? Because you've made it clear you don't entertain anything less. And if you want to learn how to build this kind of internal strength for real, not just in theory, consider joining the channel membership. That's where I teach the deeper frameworks, the calm masculine skills, and the boundaries that most men never develop in their lifetime. If this resonates with you, drop a comment saying, "I hold my standard." Because next, we're diving into the kind of calm masculine energy that makes her chase you even harder. Number 5. Stay calm when she tests you. Let's be real, folks. Every woman tests a man not because she wants to break him, but because she wants to read him. She wants to know who you are under pressure. She wants to know if the calmness you show is real or just a mask. She wants to feel the difference between a man who reacts from insecurity and a man who responds from strength. And the moment you lose your calm, the moment you get defensive, needy, emotional, or explosive, she sees exactly what kind of man she's dealing with. To make this real, let me give you a situation many men your age have lived through. Richard, 60, from North Carolina, started dating Emily, 58. Things were going well, steady dinners, long drives, good chemistry. But one evening, Emily brought up something completely random and slightly confrontational. She said, "Sometimes you feel distant. Are you even interested?" She didn't say it with anger. She said it with uncertainty, testing the emotional ground beneath her feet. Now the old Richard would have panicked. He would have over-explained, over-apologized, and immediately tried to fix her feelings just to calm the discomfort. But this time he remembered something important. Tests aren't attacks, they're emotional inquiries. Women test to see if you can hold space when things feel unsteady. So, instead of reacting, Richard took a slow breath. He kept his tone level and said, "I'm here. I'm not distant. I just don't rush things." That calm response shifted the entire energy. Emily softened. She leaned closer. She felt grounded by his steadiness, not rattled by his insecurity. This is what women feel when a man stays calm: safety, strength, and emotional leadership. A woman doesn't want a man who matches her anxiety. She wants a man who anchors it. When she tests your patience with a sarcastic comment, stay calm. When she questions your intentions, stay calm. When she gets emotional about something small, stay calm. Your calm is not passivity. Your calm is not indifference. Your calm is a message. I don't get thrown off center because you're having a moment. Women your age especially feel this deeply. They've lived through enough emotional turbulence. They've dated enough men who crumble under pressure. A man who stays calm becomes rare. A man who stays calm becomes comforting. A man who stays calm becomes attractive. Now, this doesn't mean you tolerate disrespect. Calm is not weakness. Calm is clarity. Calm lets you see the situation without emotional fog. Calm allows you to respond instead of react. And in every test, the woman is not looking at your words. She's reading your energy. She's watching your breathing. She's listening to your tone. She's sensing whether you're stable or shaken. When Richard stayed calm, Emily didn't see a man who didn't care. She saw a man who didn't get emotionally hijacked. She saw a man who could handle conflict. She saw a man she could trust with deeper parts of herself. And that's exactly when she started putting in more effort. She began initiating plans. She made conversations more intimate. She leaned into him instead of pulling away. A calm man is not a predictable man. A calm man is a powerful man. Tests don't stop when she likes you. Tests stop when she respects you. If this speaks to you, drop a comment saying, "I stay centered." Stay with me because next, we're talking about the boundary that makes you unforgettable, keeping your independence, no matter how good the connection feels. Number 6. Keep your independence. Let's be real, my friend. The moment a man gives up his independence, the dynamic shifts. Not because she wants to control you, but because she wants to know whether you can stand on your own. Women don't chase men who lose themselves in the relationship. They chase men whose lives stay full, steady, and self-directed, no matter how much they like someone. This is where most men slip. They meet a woman, feel that spark, and suddenly their entire world starts revolving around her schedule, her mood, her attention. The hobbies fade. The discipline gets softer. The routines disappear. And deep down, she can sense the shift. She feels him collapsing inward, not because he loves her, but because he's afraid to lose her. That fear kills the masculine energy she was drawn to in the first place. Stoic philosophy has been teaching this for thousands of years. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Independence isn't about being alone, it's about being self-led. A man who is master of himself is a man a woman respects without hesitation. Your independence is built on 3 things: your purpose, your structure, and your identity. When you stay connected to your purpose, your work, your mission, your goals, you send a quiet signal. My life is bigger than this moment, and bigger than this relationship. Women find that energy magnetic. It tells her, you're not a man who gets swallowed by romance. It tells her, you're not a man who clings. It tells her you're someone with direction. Masculine direction creates feminine attraction. Your structure matters too. A man with routines, boundaries, and habits feels solid. When you maintain the things that make you, your gym time, your morning ritual, your commitments, you show her that she's entering your world, not replacing it. She feels pulled toward the steadiness, not burdened by your dependence. And then there's your identity. A lot of men merge too quickly. They start agreeing with everything she says. They shift their preferences. They adjust their personality to stay likable. But a man who loses himself stops being a man she can admire. A woman wants connection, not absorption. She wants intimacy, not enmeshment. She wants partnership, not possession. Independence also protects you emotionally. When your world doesn't revolve around her approval, you don't panic when she pulls back. You don't crumble at her silence. You don't chase because you're afraid of emptiness. You respond like a man who trusts himself. You move from clarity instead of fear. And here's the twist: when you stay independent, she gives more, she invests more, she tries harder, not because you're playing games, but because she feels your value. Women chase the man whose life is already full. They drift away from the man who expects her to fill the empty spaces. Keeping your independence is not cold, it's not distant, it's not selfish, it's masculine maturity. It tells her, I want you, but I don't need you to function. And that difference changes everything. If this resonates with you, drop a comment saying, I lead my life. Let's keep going, because next we're diving into the boundary most men are terrified of: the willingness to walk away. Number 7. Be ready to walk away. Let's be real, folks. Nothing changes the way a woman sees you more than knowing you can walk away if the situation no longer respects you. Not because you want to leave, not because you're cold, but because you refuse to stay where your value isn't recognized. Most men do the opposite. They cling, they negotiate, they beg for more effort, more attention, more consistency. And the moment you do that, you kill the very attraction you're trying to save. Let me make this real for you. Tom, 59, from Arizona, had been talking to Rachel, 56, for a few months. Good chemistry, enjoyable dates, fun, energy. But over time, Rachel started pulling back, showing up late, cancelling plans, giving minimal effort. Tom felt the shift, but like most men, he tried to compensate for her lack of investment by increasing his. He texted more, he planned more, he tried harder, and every time he tried harder, she stepped back even further. Eventually, Tom hit a point where he realized something: he wasn't being rejected, he was being tolerated. And that's when he finally remembered the most powerful boundary: a man can have the willingness to walk away from anything that's not mutual. So one afternoon, when Rachel cancelled on him again with a half-hearted excuse, he didn't fight, he didn't lecture. He simply said, "No worries, take care," and shifted his energy back to his own life. No anger, no guilt, just clean, calm detachment. 2 days later, Rachel texted him with a very different tone: curious, warm, invested. Why? Because his willingness to walk away reminded her of something she had forgotten. He was a man with options, boundaries, and self-respect. A woman feels the deepest attraction for a man who doesn't trap himself in someone else's emotional weather. When she senses you're afraid to lose her, the chase dies. When she senses you're willing to leave if the connection no longer aligns, the respect rises. Women don't fall for the man who clings for dear life. They fall for the man who knows his worth so clearly that he's not scared of the door closing. Stoicism teaches this principle well. It's the idea of non-attachment, not coldness, but clarity. You care deeply, but you don't depend. You love fully, but you don't collapse. You show up, but you don't disappear into the relationship. And when things stop working, you have the courage to step back, not as punishment, but as self-protection. Walking away is powerful because it's rare. Most men are terrified of it. Most men would rather stay in uncertainty than face silence. Most men would rather compromise everything than risk losing someone. But the truth is simple. A woman cannot truly chase you unless she knows you're willing to walk away. Your willingness to leave tells her your love is a choice, not a desperation. Your presence is earned, not taken for granted. Your time is valuable, not disposable. And that's exactly what pulls her closer. When Tom walked away, Rachel didn't panic. She woke up. She remembered why she liked him. She remembered the steadiness, the maturity, the masculine clarity she felt around him. And most importantly, she remembered that losing him was actually possible. If this hits something in you, drop a comment saying, "I choose myself." Stick with me, because next we're talking about the boundary that builds slow-burning tension, controlling intimacy instead of rushing into it. Number 8. Slow down intimacy. Let's be real, my friend. Most men rush intimacy not because they're confident, but because they're afraid. Afraid she'll lose interest. Afraid another man will take their place. Afraid the opportunity won't come again. And when a man moves from fear, he destroys the very attraction he's hoping to build. Women don't chase what comes too fast. They chase what unfolds slowly, intentionally, and with masculine control. Slowing down intimacy isn't about rejecting her or acting cold. It's about understanding something. Deeper tension is created through pacing. When a man knows how to set the rhythm, physically, emotionally, and energetically, a woman feels safe, but she also feels desire building inside her. She leans in more because you're not rushing her. She opens up more because you're not pushing for closeness. And she invests more because you're not giving her everything too early. This is exactly why Stoic wisdom fits perfectly here. The Stoics taught restraint, not suppression, but mastery. Seneca said, "Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery." When you slow down intimacy, you're showing mastery over yourself. You're demonstrating that your desires don't control you. You control them. And that instantly shifts you into a category of men she rarely encounters. Here's what most men get wrong. They think moving slowly will make her think they're not interested. In reality, moving slowly makes her more interested because it shows you're not desperate. When you take your time getting physically close, she wonders what makes you so composed. When you don't rush emotional intimacy, she wonders what you're holding back. When you let things progress naturally, instead of forcing moments, she wonders what makes you so secure. That curiosity is what pulls her toward you. Slowing down intimacy also protects you from one of the biggest traps. Men fall into bonding too fast with the wrong woman. When you rush the connection, you skip important information, her consistency, her character, her emotional stability, her intentions. Moving slowly isn't just a boundary for her. It's a boundary for you. And here's the thing. A mature woman doesn't get turned off by a man who takes his time. She gets turned off by a man who acts like intimacy is the goal instead of the result of real connection. Slowing down allows you to build the foundation first. The trust, the dynamic, the polarity. And polarity always becomes stronger when desire is allowed to breathe instead of being suffocated by pressure. Think about it this way. A man who rushes intimacy feels hungry. A man who slows it down feels powerful. Because slowing down is a choice. And choices signal confidence. Now, does this mean you act distant? No, you stay warm, present, grounded. But you control the pace, not her mood, not the moment, not fear. When she feels you guiding the rhythm, she doesn't pull away. She follows. And the best part, when intimacy does happen, emotionally or physically, it hits deeper, feels richer, and creates a bond she respects, not just enjoys. If this makes sense to you, drop a comment saying, "I control the pace." Stay tuned, because next we get into one of the most powerful boundaries of all, limiting your attention, so she starts working for your presence instead of expecting it. Number 9. Limit your attention. Let's be straight here, my friend. A woman doesn't fall for the man who gives her non-stop attention. She falls for the man whose attention has weight, the man whose presence feels earned, the man who gives warmth but not saturation. Most men do the exact opposite. They pour attention on a woman the moment they feel a spark. They text all day. They chase every reply. They overgive because they're terrified of losing her. And that fear makes them predictable, easy, and emotionally cheap. To make this real, let me give you an example that hits close to home for many men. Mark, 58, from Colorado, met Samantha, 55, through a mutual friend. From the very beginning, Mark felt that rare connection. And like many good men, he started giving too much, too fast. Long messages every morning, quick replies to every text, constant check-ins, little compliments sent throughout the day just to keep her attention warm. At first, Samantha enjoyed it, but very quickly she adjusted to it. She got used to it. She expected it, and once she expected it, the magic disappeared. His attention wasn't special anymore. It wasn't masculine. It wasn't selective. It was just there. Then something happened that surprised Mark. Samantha began pulling back, not because she stopped liking him, but because he stopped being a challenge. She no longer had to step up. She no longer had to wonder. She no longer had to invest. His attention required nothing from her. This is why limiting your attention is a boundary, not a tactic. When your attention is constant and free, a woman doesn't feel chosen, she feels overwhelmed. When your attention is measured and earned, she feels something far more powerful: desire. A man who limits his attention communicates three things without saying a word. First, he has a full life. If you're always available, she assumes you have nothing going on. A man with hobbies, work, discipline, and commitments naturally becomes a man whose attention feels valuable. Second, he has self-respect. If you're pouring attention into a woman who gives you minimal effort, she will lose respect for you. A man who limits attention only gives to those who give back. Third, he is emotionally centered. A man who doesn't need constant interaction feels grounded. A man who needs constant interaction feels anxious. She can sense the difference instantly. Now, let's return to Mark. After realizing what was happening, he changed one thing. He stopped flooding Samantha with energy. He slowed down the messaging. He kept his replies short and steady. He let conversations breathe. He allowed her to come toward him instead of doing all the forward motion himself. And the shift was immediate. Samantha leaned in again. She initiated more. She asked more questions. She became warmer and more consistent. Why? Because Mark's attention went from being something she expected to something she noticed again. This is how mature attraction works. Not through excess, but through intention. Not through constant availability, but through selective presence. A woman doesn't want to feel like your entire emotional world depends on her replies. She wants to feel the thrill of earning your focus. Your attention is not a gift you hand out freely. It's a privilege given to the woman who shows she values it. If this hits home, drop a comment saying, "I choose who gets my energy." Stay with me, because next we're talking about the boundary that ties everything together, making her earn your presence without ever saying a word. Number 10. Make her earn your presence. Let's get real, my friend. Presence is the most powerful thing a man can offer a woman. Not gifts, not compliments, not constant effort. Presence. The way you show up, the way you listen, the way you carry yourself, the way she feels when she's near you. But here's the truth. Most men never learn. Your presence only has power when it's earned, not handed out to anyone who shows you a little attention. A lot of men your age fall into the same trap. The moment a woman gives them interest, they overcorrect. They start giving her all their time, all their attention, and all their emotional energy, long before she's shown consistency. And when you do that, your presence stops feeling like a privilege. It becomes a guarantee, something automatic, something she no longer has to work for. And once it stops feeling earned, it stops feeling exciting. Making a woman earn your presence isn't about arrogance. It isn't about playing cold or pretending to be unavailable. It's about being selective, intentional, self-respecting. It's about understanding that a man with value doesn't place himself anywhere he isn't genuinely appreciated. Think of it this way. A woman doesn't chase the man who shows up too easily. She chases the man who shows up meaningfully. You want her to feel something when she's with you: comfort, attraction, curiosity, warmth. But you also want her to realize that your presence is not guaranteed. It's something she influences through her effort, her tone, her consistency, and her respect. Here's how a man makes his presence something a woman earns naturally without saying a word. First, he doesn't rush availability. A man who always says yes becomes invisible. A man who values his time becomes unforgettable. When she knows you have a life that moves with or without her, your presence becomes something she looks forward to, not something she takes for granted. Second, he watches actions, not promises. A woman may talk about how much she likes you. She may talk about spending time. She may talk about commitment. But a high-value man doesn't move based on talk. He moves based on follow-through. Your presence is earned when her effort matches her words. Third, he brings quality when he shows up. If you're present, be fully present. That means no desperation, no over-explaining, no seeking reassurance. You bring calm energy, masculine intention, grounded attention. When a man shows up with depth instead of hunger, a woman feels that instantly. Finally, a man who makes her earn his presence never chases her energy. He responds to investment. He doesn't force connection. He doesn't stretch himself to fit into her world. He lets attraction build from her movement, not his pressure. When you live this way, something powerful happens. She becomes more thoughtful, more feminine, more consistent. She respects your time. She values your presence. She puts in effort because she sees she's dealing with a man who won't give himself away cheaply. This is how mature women fall deeper. Not through intensity, not through chasing, through earned closeness. Your presence is your value in motion. Make sure it goes only where it's respected, not just received. That's how you become the man she chases, not just once, but continuously. You've just learned the 10 boundaries that flip the entire dynamic with a woman. When you protect your emotions, your time, your independence, your presence, you stop chasing, and she starts investing. These aren't tricks. They're standards that make you a stronger man, a clearer man, a steadier man. And when you live this way, the right woman will always rise to meet you. If you want deeper guidance, the private lessons and the advanced breakdowns I can't share publicly, make sure you join the channel membership. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.